Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to show you the new rack that I built and how I loaded it up, what all's in it. Basically, I started out with, I had a 44 unit 2-post rack. All I was basically using it for was a couple of switches, or a switch and a firebox, and I had two regular case computers sitting on the bottom of it. I got myself a couple of servers, and I was gonna rig up something, some angle iron, just make some braces, but then I decided it's not going to look good, and plus with the length of the servers, it actually pushed it out past where I could get it because of this ductwork here. So I was going to have to cut it anyway, and what I decided to do was I built a wooden rack. I got some just regular 2x4 lumber, and I put it all together, and what I did was I cut the 44 unit rack in half at 22 units, and I fitted it right inside the wooden frame. It's on casters, the whole thing rolls. So basically, I'm going to show you back here. It is a little bit longer, a little bit deeper than a normal rack would be, mainly because the 2-unit rack is a U-channel. See these? It's got ears on both the front and the back, and the way these server rails are made, they're made to be reversible to fit either screw mount or square hole mount. And this mechanism does not fit inside the U-channel. So what I had to do was I had to make the rack 29.5 inches from back to back instead of front to front. So it's about 4 inches 4 inches deeper than a normal rack would be, but things can be mounted. It fits the server rails perfectly. Anything else that's rail mounted that I decide to put in here will fit, and it does sit flush because all it does is pull the rails out just a little bit, and they sit flush with the front. All the switch gear, all the 2-post surface mount stuff mounts just fine in it. So basically, what we have here, I've got my my air rave for Sprint. Basically, what that is, if you don't know, it's a little mini cell site. It puts out a cellular signal and it connects to your network. And if you have bad coverage at home, it's basically kind of like a signal booster. It's not on right now. When I was pulling things apart, I managed to cut the GPS antenna cable. And these things, they won't work without the GPS, without the GPS, and because what it does is it makes sure that you're not actually trying to use it where they don't have service. So it's not running right now, but eventually, once I get my the antenna replaced, I'll get that up and working. I have 2 scanners. I provide a feed to radio reference of our local police, fire, EMS. And that can be picked up over streaming apps. What it does is it feeds into this computer here, the white one. Pretty much all it's doing is running an audio streaming server, and it connects and feeds out the audio from both the scanners. This guy here, it's a USB connection that feeds out the alpha tags, so you can see who's actually talking. I do have 3 separate physical networks. The top one, the 3COM 6490 switch. Basically, it's a that's my main home business network. Everything goes into that. It is power over Ethernet. If you need to power something remotely, use a proper power over Ethernet switch. Don't do that stupid adapter thing that sends power over the unused pairs. It's stupid. It doesn't work. It overheats the cables, and you risk burning something out if you plug it in. If you plug something in that's not supposed to be there, it's just don't do it. These things are dirt cheap all over eBay. I got this one for $50, and when it's a pull out of enterprise service, these things cost like $1,000 when they were new. Also, if you don't have an Ethernet, or a power over Ethernet capable device like an access point, you want to use it with just a regular router or something, TP-Link sells on Amazon. It's a splitter that takes the power over Ethernet and splits it out into a regular Ethernet and a 5, 12, or 9 volt power to run your device. They're like $10 a piece. So there's really no excuse to use those stupid adapters. These guys here, the middle one is my tenant's network. Basically, I just needed one extra power over Ethernet port on the separate network to run his access point, and I wound up getting both of these for what it would have cost me to get a power over Ethernet injector and splitter. So this actually made it real nice. Like I said, it's mostly unused, but for what I paid for it, I'm not complaining. The bottom one is eventually what I'm going to do with my servers. I'm running a remote access server, kind of like TeamViewer, but TeamViewer's licensing is absolutely ridiculous. They want like $1,500 a year for to use their service commercially. There's a service called Simple Help, where you can run the software on your own server, and it works exactly the same. So, and it's only $300 for the license versus $1,500. So basically, I've got my entire, I bought the license and a server for less than half of what the TeamViewer license would have cost me. Being as that's got to be publicly accessible to the internet, I want that on a separate network. I don't want it anywhere near my my internal networks. So I got I got a separate switch for that, or a separate switch for that too. This is a WatchGuard Firebox. You may have seen it. They're all over the place. WatchGuard is the Firebox is a hardware firewall. It normally runs WatchGuard software, which is really expensive. It's enterprise level software, but since these things run pretty much off the shelf consumer hardware inside, there's a version of pfSense that runs on them, and it's a very popular way to get a cheap enterprise level firewall, because you can get these things on eBay for probably about $75 on average. I pretty much stole this one for $35. They do go higher if pfSense is pre-installed on them, because it's kind of a pain to install it. I also upgraded the hardware in it. I upgraded the CPU. I doubled the memory. I actually also have an 8-port version that I will be swapping this one out for eventually, but that's a little bit down the road. So what this does is it takes the input from my fiber optic converter, and it separates it out into three physical LANs, and sends everything out to where it's supposed to go. If you have if you're looking for, like I said, if you're looking for a good firewall, this is a good way to do it on the cheap. pfSense will run on pretty much any x86 hardware, so you can build a computer, you can do this, but these things are, like I said, these things are really cheap, and they work. So I get the keyboard and the monitor. These are my servers. They're Dell PowerEdge 2950 Generation 3s. They're running dual. Each one is running a dual Xeon E5450 at 3 gigahertz. They both have 32 gigs of RAM. They have right now. They have each running 246 gig 15K SAS drives. They're in RAID 1, so it's just it's mirror on the operating system. The other 4 sleds are just empty sleds. They're not populated at all. They are off right now because everything you've ever heard about PowerEdge 2950s being sounding like a fleet of jet engines is absolutely true. These things are loud. Not something that I took seriously when I was doing some, looking up the hardware. I was like, yeah, I can deal with that. You do not want these anywhere near a living space. They're if you look, I'll show you here. These things have these fans are 70 CFM each, so it's 300 CFM blowing through these heat sinks here. But they run normal speed, operating speed on these things is like 7,800 RPMs. So it's like it is a jet engine. So there's a mod you can do, swap out the fans for lower power ones. This thing isn't in a, it's not in a crowded rack or anything. It's not going to be under, any real huge load. So I can't imagine it needing that kind of cooling in this environment. But you can, they can be swapped out for quieter fans. But there's modification to the BIOS involved, and I just don't have the time to do it right now. But I will fire them up later, let you hear how loud they are. These guys down here, like I said, the one on the right is the all that does is stream audio from the scanner. Eventually, that will be swapped out for a Raspberry Pi. Just because it'll be a lot easier to run it off battery. All my switch gear here is running off a UPS. It does not, none of the computers are connected to that because it's just too small of a backup. But it runs the it runs all the switch gear for about 2 hours. With just the batteries that are in there. I actually have a second set of batteries I'm going to parallel to it. The guy on the left is that's Osiris. That's my my original old file server. It's just a it's a dual core Athlon 64. It's got 4 gigs of RAM and 4 2TB hard drives in RAID 5. That is actually hardware RAID. It's got a RAID card in it. It's basically, it's, you know, it's mostly, you know, my all my media, my, you know, my movie library, everything like that. It streams out to, you know, I've got media players all over the house. You know, my smart TV can do it. I've got XBMC or Kodi now, running on a couple of Fire TVs. So, you know, this serves everything up. You know, it's got the Blu-ray drive, and it rips all the, you know, basically anytime I get a new Blu-ray, it's, you know, DVD, I just rip it on right, you know, straight onto there. They're just kind of sitting in there. I ran out of lumber. There's no back support, so it's sort of just, they're just sort of sitting on the rails there. Yeah, that is the back end of a soda fountain, but that's a different video. I'm not going into that now. In the back, as I sort of showed you before, you know, the rails go back to back, but I got plenty of room in here. I kind of built my own little power solution here. There's right now the servers do have redundant power supplies, but they are plugged into the same circuit. I do want to change that, but I have to run 2 new circuits in here. You know, at this point they're all just plugged in basically to lower the power load on any given power supply to half. Up here is my Vonage adapter. I use Vonage for my home service, and my business line. If you would like a referral, just drop me a comment, and I'll give you a referral. We'll both get credit for it. This is the power supply and the battery backup for the AirRave, with the KVM here, so I can use all the computers off of the one. This switch here basically is for the NIC cards in the servers, and the only reason it's there is because I ran out of 10-foot cables. So that's the only way I can plug them in right now. The servers, both the servers also have DRAC cards in them. That's Dell Remote Access Controller. Those are give you the capability of powering the server off and on, recycling the power, all by remote over the network. So that way, if you know, if it goes down while I'm not able to get to it, you know, if it goes down while I'm out, I can actually log in directly and reboot it, or you know, if the power goes out and it doesn't come back on, I can cycle it back on remotely. The servers are running VMware ESXi 5.5. What that does is it's a bare metal hypervisor, and what that does is it's basically a very, very small operating system that allows you to run the virtual machines. If you use a hypervisor like Hyper-V that's built into Windows Server, it uses a lot more processing power. It wastes a lot of resources on the machine, because you have to run Windows to run Hyper-V, and then on Hyper-V runs all your other instances of Windows and the other guest operating systems. What ESXi does is it's just a very, very small Linux installation, and that runs once that's installed. Then you install your guest operating systems. It uses a lot less resources, and there's a lot more available to the guest operating systems. So I'm going to fire these up now. Let you hear how loud they are. I actually measured these with a decibel meter. Any like background noise, like even just the fans and the switchgear and everything, is about 57 decibels. A quiet night is about 50. When these things fired up, it peaked at almost 90 decibels, which is insanely loud to have running all the time. They do quiet down a little bit, but it still runs on an average of about 80 to 82 decibels. It's literally the same as like standing next to a train running by. You don't want to have these things anywhere near any place where you've got to live or work, unless you really like white noise. So there you go. I'm going to fire these guys up for you. So they ramp up to full blast, and then they come down a little bit, but they're still the fans are still running at, like I said, almost 8,000 RPMs. So they are going to be loud. This is something. If I have the basement door open, you can hear it through the whole house. Now, as I said, ESXi allows you to run multiple operating systems as if they were each one is on a separate machine. So right now, the two servers that I have, I was originally only going to get one because I needed the one for simple help. And I'm also going to put Active Directory and a deployment server. But I figured I got such a great deal on the one. He had multiples available, so I ordered two, just so I would have something to play around with. But as I said, the ESXi runs the. It allows each machine each guest operating system. It treats it as if it's its own machine. So I have two instances of Windows 7 and one instance of Windows Server 2008 R2. And as far as each operating system is concerned, they are all running on their own machine. It's three separate machines. When you have the only thing that I have to do is I have to get multi-head NIC cards, because as it stands right now, they are sharing the NIC cards that are in there. Each server has two. One is dedicated to the management console. What that means is you don't actually control the machines from the console here. This pretty much the only thing you can do here is change the network settings to access it. Everything else, all the administration is done from VMware's remote console called vSphere, and that requires its own dedicated NIC with its own IP address. The virtual machines, the guest operating systems, they can all share a NIC. But it's not ideal. Ideally, each one would have its own separate NIC with its own separate IP and MAC address, and that's one of the things that I have to do. I have to get separate physical NICs before I can do the Simple Help server. Again, that's basically so that I can have it on its own outside network that's not tied into my my internal networks. So here it is. It's all booted up, ready to go. Yeah, like I said, that's all you can really do from here. Everything else is done on the remote console. So once again, here's what it looks like. Don't mind these cables. That's my next project. That's all my coax, my TV and FM stuff that was going to go on this wall, but it's a little too with how big the rack wound up being. It's a little too short for to go there. So I'll be working on that later. And I don't want to hear any comments about my wiring. Yes, I know that's not the way you're supposed to do it. I don't have a patch panel, so I committed the mortal sin of just crimping tips on the bare solid Cat 5 cables that were coming from each location. I know it's got to be changed, but if you want to change, buy me a patch panel. Other than that, let me know what you think. If you have any other comments or anything, let me know. And I'll probably be making some more videos on the using the VMware and some of the other stuff. Showing you how to set up how the Simple Help works and all of that. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching.